In the spring of 1940, the world watched in disbelief as one of Europe's greatest military powers, France, collapsed in just 6 weeks under the relentless assault of Nazi Germany. This stunning defeat shattered the illusion of French military superiority and revealed the effectiveness of Germany's new method of warfare, Blitzkrieg, or lightning war. The fall of France was one of the most pivotal moments in World War II, and its speed and scale reshaped the geopolitical landscape of Europe. The legacy of World War I, a false sense of security. After the devastating trench warfare of World War I, France was determined never to suffer such losses again. In the 1930s, it focused on building the Maginot Line, a vast network of fortifications along the German border. French military doctrine emphasized static defense and the belief that any German attack would resemble the slow, grinding offensives of the previous war. This mindset left French planners unprepared for modern mobile warfare and deeply overconfident in the ability of the Maginot Line to protect the nation. Germany's plan, Fall Gelb, Case Yellow. The German plan to invade France, known as Fall Gelb, was bold and unconventional. Rather than launching a frontal assault on the Maginot Line, German forces would strike through the Ardennes forest, a region the French considered impassable to tanks, and then swing northwest to encircle the Allied forces. The plan, largely devised by General Erich von Manstein and executed by General Heinz Guderian and General Gerd von Rundstedt, relied on speed, surprise, and deep armored thrust supported by air power. The invasion begins May 10, 1940. On May 10, 1940, Germany launched its offensive. Army Group B attacked Belgium, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands, drawing the British Expeditionary Force (BF) and much of the French army northward in response. Simultaneously, Army Group A pushed through the Ardennes, catching the Allies off guard. The Luftwaffe German Air Force pounded French and Allied defenses, further sowing chaos. By May 13th, German tanks had crossed the Meuse River at Sedan, breaking through French lines and racing toward the English Channel. The encirclement at Dunkirk. As German panzer divisions surged westward, they encircle hundreds of thousands of Allied troops in Belgium and northern France. The BF, along with remnants of the French and Belgian armies, found themselves trapped around the port city of Dunkirk. From May 26 to June 4, the British launched Operation Dynamo, a desperate evacuation effort. Over 330,000 soldiers were rescued across the English Channel, but France was left vulnerable. The German High Command briefly hesitated in pushing further, allowing the evacuation to succeed, but the momentum of their campaign remained unstoppable. The fall of Paris and French surrender. With northern France crumbling, German forces pushed south. On June 14th, Paris fell without resistance. The French government, in disarray, fled to Bordeaux. On June 17th, Marshal Philippe Pétain, a World War I hero, became prime minister and immediately called for an armistice. On June 22, 1940, France signed a formal surrender with Germany in the same railway carriage where Germany had been forced to surrender in 1918, an act of symbolic revenge for Hitler. France was divided into 2 zones. Occupied France, under direct German military control. The so-called Vichy regime, a puppet government led by Pétain that collaborated with the Nazis. Why did France fall so quickly? Several key factors explain the rapid collapse. Outdated military strategy. France relied on static defense and failed to adapt to modern, mobile warfare. Underestimation of the Ardennes. French commanders believed the dense forest was an effective natural barrier. Lack of coordination. French and British forces were poorly coordinated, often reacting too slowly. German innovation and speed. The Germans exploited radio communications, tanks, and aircraft with superior coordination. Low morale and political division. French political instability and fear of another prolonged war weakened national resolve. Consequences of the fall. Britain stood alone against Nazi Germany for the next year. The fall of France emboldened Hitler and shocked the world. The Free French movement, led by Charles de Gaulle, began organizing resistance from abroad. France's defeat influenced other nations to reassess their own military doctrines and preparedness. The fall of France in 6 weeks remains one of the most remarkable and devastating defeats in modern military history. It exposed the dangers of complacency and outdated thinking in warfare, and demonstrated the effectiveness of Germany's Blitzkrieg strategy. For France, it was a national trauma, but it also marked the beginning of a long and courageous resistance that would continue until liberation in 1944.